Welcome back to the Boys and Bolos podcast. We're down here in the barbershop studio. Jarrett, welcome to the end of, well, the start of week 3, the end of week 2. Battle at the Bridge is over.
Battle at the Bridge.
At the end of it, it felt like a battle.
Okay, let's start right there.
Okay.
Who do you back in a fight and why?
Conte or Tuchel?
Yeah.
Tuchel seems kind of wiry. He's tall, skinny.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like.
But Conte is like a little like mean, like kind of Italian, like ferocious little guy.
He's like Raging Bull.
Yeah, I don't know. I support Spurs obviously, and so I'm gonna back Conte.
So Conte won us a title in 2017,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm highly aware of his theatrics on the sideline. My thing is, if it's a boxing match, I got Tuchel for the reach. If it's UFC, Conte on the floor would be. I wouldn't want to deal with that. The shorter, stronger guys.
Also,
so it has to do with
there's
that.
something to be said about like Conte. Was Tuchel a former player? I don't think so, right?
Yeah, he was.
He was.
Yep.
Did he? Okay, and Conte was a former player.
Conte was better.
Conte was like more into the I feel like Conte might have been more into the dark arts. He understands.
Well, he's Italian.
He's the shithousery is.
It's
like
an Italian
in his
versus
blood.
a German. It's
Yeah, the shithousery is in Conte's blood. So he like knows how to like push it enough to not get thrown out of a game to get yelled.
So you're saying like he would do like a groin hit or like an eye gouge.
Yeah,
like it wouldn't get caught. But Tuchel wouldn't have an eye.
Yeah, Tuchel is seemed a lot less subtle in that whole thing because he's running down the sidelines celebrating.
When he ran down the sidelines and he had to go by the Tottenham bench, Conte just didn't know he was there, and he had his head down. And he was like had his head in his hands or whatever, and you saw later Conte put up in the stories. He's like, if I knew you were coming, it would have been well deserved. Meaning I would have like clocked you or pushed you.
Yeah,
which would have been awesome.
Unbelievable.
If he had like clothesline Tuchel.
But like also the whole like audacity of like the reason why Tuchel held his hand is because he didn't make eye contact. That's like so asinine. Like, come on, dude. Like,
It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Tuchel taking out the fact that Chelsea lost at the end. We lost in the final, especially the final kick of the match. And his post thing when he's like, I wanted him to look me in the eyes. I think I put it up on Bolos. I was like, Tuchel's trying to fall in love out here with this Italian.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, whatever. They both got red cards. I don't know if Tuchel's was a second yellow, maybe, or was it a straight red? I don't even know.
I don't know.
It's a one-game ban.
I hope they're both not on the touchline and then they're back after the next game. Like
It's
it is
fine.
what it is.
It is what it is. They'll be fine. Both teams are playing. Chelsea plays Leeds and Spurs play Wolves. It's not like going to be a pivotal. Like he's going to be up with an earpiece. They're going to have earpieces in whoever the assistant coach's ear, and they're going to be doing it.
He's going to be like the people on when what was it in World War II when they didn't have the radios or whatever for the people on the aircraft carriers, and they're out there with like 6 different color flags flying them around. That's what Tuchel's going to be. It's like 3-5-2, no, 4-4-1, no.
I love that.
4-5-1.
Tuchel's a really good coach, obviously, and he set up that formation for that game to counter whatever Spurs were going to do, and it worked out very well for them.
The first half
was brutal.
Okay, I don't know how we'd figured this out, and we could probably look it up. I don't know where to look. Like Son didn't exist the first half. Kane,
2 touches.
Honestly, I understood in the first half, and like I kind of obviously understand, but like I more thoroughly understood why Jorginho was the Ballon d'Or, because he made Højbjerg. Kane would drop in, and sometimes Son would also drop in and try to defend. He never lost the ball. All of his passes were positive. All of them were perfect. And the only time he did lose the ball is when he got fouled. His positioning on the field was perfect. Now, Conte also had a great first half, but those two, it's like that's why Chelsea won the Champions League against Man City.
Right.
It was insane.
The ability for Conte to win the ball in like a defensive position and transition the ball out of defense into offense is the reason why the reason why Spurs were able to get back in the game, because as soon as he got injured, it changed, and Spurs had fresh legs on, which nobody's talking about the heat. It was fucking hot as balls that day.
It was 100.
It was like 100 degrees.
It was hot.
To say that didn't factor into the game, and nobody's talking about that. Like Spurs were able to make impactful subs in Perisic, in Basuma, in Richarlison especially.
Richarlison was the sub that I was like, when I saw him warming up, I was like, God damn it, this dude, he's pound for pound one of, I think, the most effective players in the Premier League.
And so, and I give credit fully to Chelsea. They're like 11v11, a better team than Spurs. But what Spurs improved upon this season in the transfer window is their depth. Now they can make subs in the 65th, in the 70th, in the 75th minute that will make a difference in the game. And yes, Kane scored the goal, but guess who whipped that cross in? Guess who whipped it in? Perisic.
Perisic should be starting.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Is
sure.
my point.
And the only
strictly because of his free kicks. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Edward Mendy's top 5 goalkeeper, top 3 goalkeeper, 1 FIFA goalkeeper of the year recently. And all of the free kicks he put in, Mendy had to stay in his line because they were so good and he couldn't get caught in no man's land. Right. And that's the sign of a good free kick.
Yeah, the only reason I don't think he's starting right now is because Sessegnon had a good first game and Perisic wasn't fit. So they're giving Sessegnon a run. You can see Perisic is coaching Sessegnon up on the sidelines as things are happening.
Was he really?
Yeah, oh yeah. Like that's the big reason they brought in Perisic, because they know Sessegnon's the guy they want for the future. But like right now, I think if they want to win their next 5 games, they got to start Perisic. But that's a whole other issue. Look, Chelsea are a better football team. They make, most of the players in that team start for their international club, right? Reece James he's the starting right back in England. I think last game cemented it, right? He played phenomenally well. Even in like a position he doesn't even usually play, because they shifted him kind of in at right center back, even though it was kind of weird like thing with what they were doing. But that team on paper, like that Chelsea team, is better than Spurs. Like, and that's fine. I don't think any Spurs fan is really arguing like we suddenly thought we were going to be better than Chelsea. I think it's closing that gap, right? And I think tying that game in the last minute, being down 1-0, then being down 2-1, and then coming back and tying it in the last minute, that is the difference. Like, that's the gap we're closing, right? That's it. Like, whatever, right? Like, normal Spurs go to the bridge, they lose that game 3-4, maybe nothing, right? Like 3-0. I would say 3-1. I was saying that game could have easily went sideways really bad, like really, really easily. And it didn't, because
it could have gone sideways. The other thing I want to say is that when you look at Chelsea and Spurs matching up more recently, Chelsea's had to score wonder goals to beat you guys.
Oh yeah, that Havertz goal. Was it Havertz?
It was Kovacic.
Ziyech.
It was Ziyech. Ziyech with a worldie.
Yeah.
And that's like the best goal he's ever had at Chelsea. Honestly, maybe scored 5 or 6 goals in the league at Chelsea. So we had to have that one to beat Lloris, who I think is still a top goalkeeper. And every time Spurs like, oh, we're going to sell him, I'm like, why? You're not going to get anything better. He's phenomenal.
Right.
I thought Lloris played a really great game.
Oh, they know that now. They're not doing anything.
Hopefully they know that now.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy won the World Cup, and a couple of seasons after, you guys went to the Champions League final, and then a couple, like, more recently, like, oh, they're going to sell him. Like, don't sell him.
No, they're not going to sell him.
But, so you have that. And then the Koulibaly goal, Diego asked that we talk about our goals of the week. The Koulibaly goal was unfucking real.
Yeah.
He's a center back, and he takes it out of thin air.
Yep.
That is so difficult to do. And, like, go down to a field and have your buddy lob you corners with no one else around. You can't do it like that. Like, it was so impressive.
Yeah, Højbjerg scored a goal like that as well later in the game. Like, kind of scored it wasn't like a wonder goal, but it was a pretty good strike.
I mean, it was a good strike through traffic, but I'm saying compared to Koulibaly's volley off a corner?
Yeah, for sure. But to be fair, like, I think you guys missed a few there was a few chances you guys missed.
Oh, we missed a shit ton of chances. Yeah. Havertz should have had one. He had the one that went off the post or that went like wide, and I don't know how he put it wide. There was multiple chances. The chances went begging, right? I do think Conte doesn't get hurt. We win 2-1. Conte gets hurt. That changes the game. Or Richarlison comes in. And like you're talking about closing the gap, it's not so much the players in the field. Because when I look at the starting lineups, like the Spurs lineup is really quite good. You know, like I take, like if you go forwards, midfield, and defense, I would take Koulibaly and like Romero. You know, I don't know. You could pick one, right? So that would be a throw up. The outsides, I think we have that. And the outside defense, we have Reece James or Chilwell or Cucurella. I thought he played really well. But like forwards, you guys got Kane. He's top 5 nines in the world for me, right? So you guys have a better forward. Defense, kind of easy. I think our goalie might be a little bit better, but not by much. But like in the midfield, Conte, I think he's better. But when Conte's on the field, Betancourt's been playing really well, and Kulusevski's one of the more utility players I think that there is in the Prem right now. Like he's every time I watch him play, I'm more impressed by him.
The difference I think is like in the center midfield, like Conte and Jorginho are like a proven center back pairing that like are able to take defense, transition the ball well into offense. Now I think you're right. Like Chelsea have had trouble scoring, and so like if you guys had a really really good striker, like that could like be the difference maker for you guys. But like I agree. I think your defense is still better. I think Tuchel is a better tactical coach. Like he coaches to the game that they're playing. Like he was able to see what Spurs were going to do. He knew what Spurs were going to do. It like they were going to go out as a, 3. What is it? 3.
Looks like a 3-6-1.
Yeah, like Spurs were going to go out
3-4-2-1.
Yeah, they're going to play 3 in the back basically with wing backs. He knew that. That's what Conte does. And so he shifted his whole he moved around his whole formation to accommodate that. That's how Tuchel sets up his teams. And he uses the strength of his players and tells them what to do and just and they execute, right? Like that I think Tuchel is a better tactical coach. I think Conte I think he's a good coach. I think they're just different coaches. And so it's not a good match. It's never been a good matchup for Spurs, especially against Tuchel. Like it was horrible last year. It was horrible. They lost all 4 of the games last year.
They didn't score a goal.
They didn't score a goal. It was like crazy. Like
9-0, I think, total aggregate.
Yeah, we played them twice in the league. We played them in the FA Cup and we played them in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah,
and like no goals basically, and they were home and away games. So they just have had trouble with Tuchel, right? And like how he sets up his team against Spurs.
I think so, the bigger thing is that Tuchel came in January or December of 2020 or January of 2021.
It was a 2020-21 season. Because then last season was the first full season with Chelsea.
Right. So he comes in, but the point I want to make here is that Tuchel's had these guys in this kind of 3-5-2 with 3 in the back, 2 holders in the middle, wing backs running up and down, and then these 2 forwards that are high and tight. He's been doing that for almost 18 months. Conte has not had that much time, and when I look at this, when I look at this team, Kulusevski's still getting used to it. Betancourt's still getting used to it. Sessegnon is probably not your starter. Davies is probably not your best option outside, or maybe you want a better option. Maybe he's the best you have. But it's like, I don't know. I do think something is off, though, because if you look at that first half, it was insane. It was like we had an extra player. And it was like, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the bridge. Maybe it was the heat. Maybe it was the fact that more recent history, honestly, Chelsea have really dominated this. And it even goes back to like the 2000s. And I was watching an interview with Frank Lampard, and he was talking about always playing Spurs. And he used to joke. They used to joke that when they went to White Hart Lane, they called it 3-point lane because they hardly ever dropped points there. Not even tied. They just always won. So I'm not sure what it is. I'm really looking forward to the away when we go to you guys at home or when we're away. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, I just don't think Spurs knew what to do with Ruben Loftus-Cheek on the outside. Like he's supposed to be playing as a wing back, but he didn't really play as a wing back. He played kind of as this like weird like utility player in like the middle, and they still had Reece James kind of playing as a wing back moving forward. And so it never really, I don't think they really understood like any of the formation that Chelsea was putting out there, right? They knew that Conte and Jorginho were going to kind of hold in the middle and Mount was going to play more as a 10, but they couldn't on that right-hand side, they just couldn't ever get it going. And I think what it comes down to a lot is that Sessegnon isn't confident and isn't skilled enough yet, maybe, to figure out on the fly while the game's happening what to do.
That's something to be said.
Yeah.
Tactically, there are very few players that can figure out in real time, this is what's happening, we're being overloaded, or this guy's free to run, we need to pick him up. Because you're right, Loftus-Cheek was the best game I've ever seen him play. He looked fluid, he looked confident, he looked good on the ball. he looked like he was actually causing problems. And normally, I feel like he's more of a problem for Chelsea than he is like a value add. So, there's what I will say about the game is I just wish I could have been in for the halftime talks, because I would have loved to hear what Tuchel says about, okay, yes, we're dominating play, but we need to step it up and get goals, because right now the only goal we scored is kind of this crazy goal off a free kick, and we can't rely on volleys from our center backs to win games. So how do we actually score a goal? And then on the other side, Conte's like, we need to get possession of the ball. How are we going to do that? And then we need to transition much quicker, because I do think Son and Kane, in open field, and then when Richarlison or Kulusevski, they weren't really able to kind of, have that transition from sitting in a low block to go forward the entire first half. And it started to happen a lot more the second half.
Yeah,
Kane missed the sitter that you talked about.
I think, yeah, Kane missed the sitter. Basuma is the better midfielder, right? Basuma is the best center midfielder they have. And
who do you start him over?
I right now you start him over Bettenker. Because this is the reason why. Højbjerg sometimes is a little poor in the ball, but he works his fucking ass off.
His work rate's incredible.
And he's not going to get hurt, and he's going to you got to put Basuma in there. He's quality. He's
Can you play Betancourt outside?
You can't play Bettencourt outside. You can't play
Can you Oh,
he's not fast enough. That's the problem.
Could you move Betancourt up
into like a 10 type
into
of
like
situation?
a 10, and then you push Son up, and you put Kulusevski outside, and then you put Basuma in?
No, no. One of the, it's just you got to sacrifice one of them. It's just not going to work in the Conte system. What you need is a better wing back. That's really what you need. You need Perisic in there as a left wing back. That's really what you need.
Perisic is phenomenal. I mean, the guy, has
really
gone to the World Cup final with Croatia, won the Champions League with Bayern. He's played in, Inter Milan. He's a world-class player. My question with Perisic is, does he still have the legs to compete with a guy like Reece James?
I don't think he doesn't really need to. Reece James is just going to be – Reece James is literally the best right back in the league. Like, in my opinion, like he's world-class right back. Because he can play wing back, but he also can obviously play in a 3-back. And – He'll chip in goals and he'll defend pretty well. I mean, he had some. I mean, in my opinion, he should have had a second yellow on a Son pull down, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I was actually surprised when that happened. I was like,
because he was on a yellow already.
He was on a yellow, and it was tactical, and I just assumed. But I think it was the position of where he touched Son. Maybe
the only thing that concerns me about Reece James, and if we're talking like just the quality of the player, is just injury. He missed 19 games or 18 games last season. That's his durability is the only thing of that question. I don't think Perisic, the upside in Perisic is too high to not play him, because you're not going to play Reece James every week. You're going to play mostly mid-table clubs. Like, you're going to play the like guys from Wolves and the guys from Palace, and like he'll maybe miss a tackle or miss one guy that's like a little faster, but his quality is just too much upside. There's just too much upside with him.
We're only 2 games into the Premier League season, but if I'm Gary Southgate, he wants to play his 3-back, which good on him. I actually think England does well with the system, and honestly, it's a very similar system with a 3-5-2 almost. They kind of play a 3-4-3. Actually, England plays a 3-4-3. If he's not thinking Dyer over Maguire and Reece James over Alexander-Arnold, I don't know what he's thinking. Because Dyer and Reece James, what they do first, better than Alexander-Arnold and obviously Slabby, is they fucking defend.
Yeah.
Dyer looks great. I have not seen him ever play that well against Chelsea, ever. He looked good. He looked great.
I mean, you can't fault a guy for a worldie from a center back.
Yeah,
you just don't expect it. And then that Reece James goal was a formation shift. Spurs actually, at the time that goal was scored, they had shifted to a 4-back. They had shifted to 4 in the back, and Davies didn't know that there was that he thought there was somebody covering. He thought there was a left wing back covering, and there wasn't. So he was caught. Like.
Yeah, who was that?
They overloaded the right-hand side. So what happened was everything got overloaded to the right, and Kulusevski got the ball taken off of him, whether it was a foul or not, whatever. But, like, Koulibaly bodied him off the ball. Probably legal, honestly, because Taylor was standing right there.
Yeah.
But the ball got stolen and then it got like shifted out wide.
And Reece James was
just there.
15 to 20 yards farther up the field than he should have been.
Yeah, and
just in that moment, when it was scored, I thought something was wrong because it was too easy.
right.
You know, like when Sterling gets the ball and he's in the middle of the 18 and he has Reece James outside, there's a unbalanced. There was an unbalancing there, which I thought was weird. And the other thing is, I think every single player, if you watch the replay, kind of had that thing where there's a foul or there's a perceived foul where you take that half second of pause because you think the ref's going to blow the whistle, and he didn't. We played through. Sterling gets the ball, kicks it to Reece.
Yeah.
Tap in, whatever.
But the reason why there was no man there on Spurs' side is because they had shifted to a 4-back, and everybody was to the right, and Davis was suspecting somebody was covering James, and there was nobody there. And so whatever. Like, I agree with you though. Like, Dyer played fine, right? The only player, like if we're talking players that like deserve to get benched for the next game, like and like try something different, see how it works, is Son, like from that game, because like Son just wasn't really, he was kind of invisible, and I think a lot of people agree is like we need to try the new guys, like we need to see what Richarlison can do in a starting lineup with Kane and Kulusevski, right? I mean, or I don't know, like
Son is a unique talent, but in the Conte system, he may not thrive. Systems are huge. Like when Sarri came into Chelsea, Jorginho looked like shit. Rudiger looked like shit. The second Rudiger had an extra guy to cover him, and he's in a 3-back. All of a sudden, he's one of the best center backs in the world.
He's at Real Madrid now.
Now he's at Real Madrid. Jorginho, for years, I was like, this dude's useless because he was in the Sarri. He was still trying to play Sarri ball, and we're no longer in Naples, and we're in the Stamford Bridge. We're in England. Changes, things happen with Tuchel. Lampard, I thought he started to get a little bit better, at least try to do different things. Tuchel comes in, the guy's a different thing. So I do think there is a system player matchup, and with that, let's go right into United, because Ten Hag comes from Ajax, and Ajax plays soccer or football or calcio the same way that Barcelona do. They play a 4-3-3. And I remember reading about the Ajax system is very similar to the Barcelona system in La Masia, where from the age of 6, when you pick up the ball, no matter where you are, you literally know where everyone else is supposed to be. So that way you have your options. You don't have to think about it. You're like, you can mentally do your checklist. All right, he's covered. Okay, let me slide the ball here, and I'll play it to him because that's where the ball needs to go. He's trying to potentially do that same thing here, and the Premier League is just not that. That's not the way it works.
Nope.
And so I'm wondering, does he need to shift his philosophy? Is it just the players? Is it a mix of both?
It's the players. He needs 10 new players.
Ragnick.
It was said Ragnick and Solskjaer knew they needed players. They said they needed players. They got sacked. They needed players. They need players. They need a whole new thing.
Do you think Ragnick and Solskjaer watched the game on Saturday and they were just like sipping tea somewhere?
Oh, for sure. They're like,
they were on
so.
Skype. They were on
told
Zoom.
you so.
They were just sitting there like, dude, we're not wrong.
We're not wrong. We're
But
not idiots. The players are bad. These are bad players. They're not good.
It's actually really crazy, all of
good.
the Sky Sports footage that has come out, and it shows, and I'm blanking, his name is Paul something, and it's like when Wan-Bissaka was traded, it's like, like that TikTok girl, when Wan-Bissaka was traded, and he's like, this guy's shit, I don't know why United are paying 50, 60, whatever they are.
Oh, it's from like 10 years ago. It's like from 6 years ago in like
yeah,
a pub.
when
Some guy
he,
in a pub.
Yeah, exactly like when he went from Palace to United. And then more recently, it's the same guy, Paul, and I'm blanking his name, when they bought Maguire.
Oh, Maguire, yeah. And
when they bought Maguire, it's the same. He's saying
worse
the same
than
thing.
Smalling.
Yeah, he's like, why are they doing this? That's way too much money. This guy's he's not the guy.
Yeah.
And it's just, you look at that team, and it's so rough. And we've said this from day one, and I really don't want to hang on this too much, because if you're a United fan, you already know what's up. Most of the world can see what's wrong here. It's the players. It's the owner. I think maybe the boss needs to realize that he has to completely shift what he's doing, because there's a very real chance that United are going to be last place at the end of week 3 on -5, -6 points.
-6 goal difference.
-6 goal differential. Yep. But the craziest thing about the United-Liverpool game is the stat that I saw today, which I just I cannot wrap my head around. So let me look at where they are in the standings.
If United win, United are ahead of Liverpool.
If United win, that they're ahead of Liverpool, because right now Liverpool are sitting in 12th.
Well, what were you gonna say? Were you gonna say something about Slabby?
I wasn't gonna say anything about Slavia. I was just gonna say that I think obviously he's overpriced, and I think he has to go with the captain. If Harry Maguire is a professional soccer player and he loves United and he wants to play in the World Cup, he needs to do whatever he can do to make sure he's not playing like dog shit and on a team that's in the bottom 10 at the Christmas break with a United jersey. So what he needs to do, if I were Slabby, I'd go up, say, Ten Hag, I've been trying to be captain. I think it'd be better if Ronaldo were captain. Let me be more of a leader than a follower. Let's see how this goes. Because I've been in the leading position now for a couple of years, and we're underperforming. Or maybe we're performing at where we need to be, but we clearly need some magic. You know, we need Michael Jordan's Space Jam magic water. And Ronaldo's a GOAT. So that would be my only thing.
Yeah,
Otherwise, he's not going to play in the World Cup.
The only thing I don't think it's going to go that way is because I think the locker room doesn't like Ronaldo. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to leave, and United don't want to sell him because they know he's their best player, even at 37, whatever how old he is, right?
He's timeless.
He's timeless. He ages like a fine wine. Right?
He's beer o'clock.
So, I am just appalled. I will be beside myself as a Spurs fan if Southgate snubs Dyer for the umpteenth time this fall in the next round of friendlies, because he needs to get Dyer in playing center back and playing with Stones and playing with Mings and playing with Cody
Reece
James and Chilwell. He needs to play with those guys. Like it's dire. It's dire, and I don't mean that Eric Dyer. I mean like it is a dire situation if Harry Maguire is the starting center back for England in the World Cup. I am saying that they will not win. They will not make it out of the group stage if Maguire. He will get turned. So he's so bad. He's not a good football player right now. He may have been good. He may have shown flashes of brilliance. He can make a sideways pass and he can make a back pass. He cannot defend a corner. He cannot defend against. He cannot defend one-on-one. He cannot defend with another defender next to him. And there's an offensive player coming. He doesn't know what to do. He gets turned around. It looks like a kid from high school soccer who has never played before, showing up at double sessions, and suddenly he's in a situation where there's an attacking player coming at him.
He's like the coach's stepson, and he has to play so the coach can get laid.
It's brutal. He's
really bad. So here's the thing. I'm betting $100 that the U.S. beats England, okay? If Harry Maguire starts that game, $200 easy. And I don't even care if I lose it because that's how great I feel about what the Yanks are going to throw at him.
Why I think he's on the team right now is because he's the United captain. It's the only reason.
Why he's in the starting 11?
No, why he's even on the squad. I think he's
on the squad because they can't get rid of him.
Yeah,
who's going to take him?
No, I think he's only on the England squad because he's the United captain.
Okay, picking up what you're putting down. I was thinking United. I got you. I want to throw a stat at you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What do Brentford, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, and Bournemouth all have in common?
They were the last bunch of teams that beat United in the Premier League.
No, they're all ahead of Liverpool in the Premier League currently, and two of them just came up from the under.
So we're shifting from United to Liverpool right now. We're gonna talk a little Liverpool action.
Yeah, I want to talk about how Liverpool are just dropping points, and when Zaha picks up that ball in transition and he's going in on Alisson, I said, "So that's a goal." Zaha's a baller. If you give him space, he's gonna punish you. Mm-hmm. And this is why the Premier League is so great, because you have a team like Crystal Palace. They kind of slept that entire thing. They didn't sleep. They worked their ass off to close space and keep it. But, like, if you make an error and you fall asleep for 1 second, they will punish you. And that, to me, is so beautiful. And the stat that we talked about, if Liverpool win, they're going to be okay. Nothing's, like, whatever. If they tie,
it's not a good look.
You don't want to tie United right now. This game is not good for either team, because they both have way too much to lose, and they both need to win, and a tie's not going to do it, and a loss is going to be I think they keep Ten Hag because I don't actually think he's the problem. I think the players are the problem, as we've said. But at some point in the first 10 games, you want to have maybe 15 points minimally. He may have less than that. He may have 12. And then all the stats are going to come out with, how many points did Ole have when they sacked him per games? How many points did Jose have when he was sacked? And I think he's going to work himself into a really tight corner. And
the only
I don't
thing he's
know.
got going for him is that all the other managers have failed at the same or worse level.
At the same rate.
So they can't just keep, because like obviously they're going to be like, oh, well, this is the third guy. People are going to be like, well, it's not it's not the manager now. Like, obviously. My question to you is, where is this game being played?
Yes. I would like to say that matters, but Liverpool just tied at home to Crystal
No,
Palace.
I actually think Liverpool will do much better if they're playing at Old Trafford.
On the road. Oh, I
Yeah.
agree. It's at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
It's at Old Trafford. Here's the
yeah.
other thing. Mo Salah has been quiet thus far this season.
That can't be going on. He's got
That doesn't happen
and
for
Nunez
too
is
long.
not going to play. So who's going to play? It's going to be
It was Jota.
So I think actually right now, and I know we're going to go back to the Nunez thing about how I don't think Nunez is going to be that great, but because Jota, Diaz, and Salah have played together more consistently, like they played together last season, for instance, I think they'll actually do better than with Nunez playing up front.
He may actually play Firmino. I don't know.
I don't know, right? That's true. Jota may be hurt.
Does he still have Minamino? I mean, he has options.
No, Minamino's gone.
Minamino's gone?
He went to like Bologna or something.
What a weird time. Hey, a couple years ago I played for Liverpool. I played maybe like 11 times, including training, and then I left.
Yeah, that's it.
And I almost won all these trophies, but I didn't.
They won the league with him?
No, they just won the 2 cups. They won the FA Cup and they won the League Cup. And I don't think he was on the team when they won the league, but I could be wrong. I think he was still with Southampton.
Yeah, I think it's either way.
Either way.
I think the front, those whatever the three, the different with Nunez out, I think they'll actually be a little bit more productive just because they played together before. I think that Liverpool team with Elliott and with who's the old guy who plays in the middle? Milner is a dicey call by Klopp against. It's a little bit of a ballsy call in the second game of the season.
I thought it was when I saw the lineup. I thought it was disrespectful.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I said you're not taking them that seriously, and they've got a lot of guys who
like Eze, Zaha, Anderson at the back. Anderson played phenomenally. He was shithousing Nunez. I saw the compilation clip of the amount of like nudging and shit, but that led up to the headbutt that I was just like, that is center back shithousery from a mid-table team at its finest. If you don't think you're gonna walk, if a Crystal Palace team center back isn't gonna do that to you all game, and you're not prepared for that, you're not prepared for the Premier League. That's what I thought, and it boiled over. He won. Anderson won the fucking matchup. That's what it comes down to.
I thought Klopp didn't put out his best. Like Fabinho. This is the crazy thing about Fabinho, right? Fabinho is on the Ballon d'Or short list of like 20 people on the planet, 20 dudes on the planet. But Fabinho doesn't start in the Copa America final. This will always blow my mind against Argentina.
Right.
They start fucking Fred. Are you kidding me? To this day, I'm like, Brazilians think they know everything about football. I'm like, dude, a blind man can see Fabinho is better. Now, even if Fabinho's hurt or has one leg, you still play him over Fred. Because Fred's only half of the man who he is, unless he has McFred. So I'm looking at this. I'm like, okay, Milner, the dude's older than we are, which is old.
Oh, I got to bring up one thing. As soon as McTominay came into that game, the whole center midfield stabilized. They didn't get scored on in the second half.
Yeah, they didn't get scored on.
I'm just saying.
No,
just saying.
McFred.
Just saying. McFred.
So I look at that lineup, and obviously the front three are great. Nunez, Diaz, Salah.
Yep.
Right? The back is... Phillips is an interesting call. I think if you look at that goal, I don't know. Maybe you start Joe Gomez from the beginning and not bring him in the 70th, which you hardly ever sub. Obviously, there was a red card, but
they have a center back gap. Let's put it.
They have a center gap, yeah, because they have Van Dijk and he's so strong. But then on the other side,
you can't have.
There's a reason why everyone attacks that side. Alexander-Arnold is one of the worst defenders. I watched this game. He was so I was just focusing on him because I'm like, how does Reece James not start over him for England? I know his service is incredible, but he's gonna get roasted in the World Cup. Put Pulisic or Brendan Aronson on him. Give me 90 minutes, and my bet is made. I'm putting my money where I believe. So Phillips, I'm like, I don't know. That's actually fine against Crystal Palace. But in the middle, Fabinho's gonna hold. Harvey Elliott's a little bit younger, and Milner's an old man. I'm like, dude, start Henderson.
Henderson for sure.
And start Elliott. Milner's a closer, dude. He's the closing pitcher at this point. So I thought it was kind of disrespectful.
That's what
they're
I thought.
at home. It's their first game of the season at home. You want to get 3 points. Done.
It was an interesting lineup. If I'm a Liverpool fan, I'm a little annoyed. I'm annoyed that you brought in this guy for $80 million and he gets riled up by Anderson. Crystal Palace center back who is mediocre at best, has a few good games. I think he's actually younger and big, and he'll do well in the Premier League, and he might get picked up by a bigger club in maybe a year or two. But bottom line is, you can't have your marquee signing and headbutting guys in the second game. It's a bad look. He's out for 3 games because it's violent conduct. You can't do it. You just can't do it. Regardless of whether you think it was like that bad or not, can't do it. Just can't do it.
Well, you know what, Jeff? You said you were worried about Nunez scoring goals this season because he was going to miss games. And right now, you're right. He's missing games.
I'm not. It is a question.
He's
got to
missing
question
almost 10% of the games.
You question what if this guy is fit for the Premier League. If he's going to get riled up, if he's going to get put off by a center back from a mid-table club, is he going to be productive? He missed a pretty open chance that he should have scored on.
Yeah, he duffed that. It was so weird.
He duffed that so badly. It was like watching a training exercise where I kept sending you, remember in preseason where he was looking like shit. It happened in the game.
It just wasn't finishing.
It just wasn't. Regardless, I think the guy's going to be fine. Like, he's young. He's going to be a good player. That's not what I'm just saying, like, there is an adjustment period to the Premier League, and he is now experiencing that. He's getting used to it. He's now got 3 less games, 3 games to sit in the sidelines and watch other players play. What does that do to a guy's confidence? Suddenly, those 3 games, Jota starts playing well. Those 3 guys, whatever front 3 starts meshing, he's going to be sitting on the sidelines. He's going to be playing cup games.
I was going to say he's going to be delegated to cup games. Relegated to cup games.
Boom. Made my prediction. It might work, but there is some truth to what I'm saying. I'm not speaking out of my fucking butthole, all right, people?
Well, it is also the second game of the season, so anything
but
can
still
happen.
You got banned for 3 games.
It's not his best time.
It's not a good look.
So let's go to week 3 and wrap this bad Larry up. Now let's just focus on the games that matter. And in my opinion,
there's only one.
There's only one because we've already kind of previewed it. Both teams have to win, and if there's a way for both teams to win, I'm sure the Fenway group is meeting with the Glazers right now, and they're like, "How do we both win?" Because
is this Monday Night Football?
Exactly, because a loss and a tie for either team is like
it's bad.
It's getting real dark. Like I'm just gonna look at the points. Let's play that out. Liverpool tie. They get 3 points. They're still in 12th, and they may be lower depending upon Fulham and 4 other teams do. They could even be as low as 17th if they tie and all these other teams were to win. If United lose,
they're last.
They're still dead last, and right now they're dead last on -5. They're below Everton on -2 and West Ham on -3. If they lose this game, we have to give them the same treatment that we gave Arsenal last season, which was, are they going to get relegated? Now, Arsenal wasn't going to get relegated last season. We were being hyperbolic. United isn't going to get relegated this season. But the longer that goes on, if whatever teams are in the bottom 3, when you go into before Christmas, the bottom team always gets relegated. I don't think any team's ever escaped from that. Will United be the bottom team at Christmas? Absolutely not. I think that they'll be probably 12 and up or 10 and up. We'll see. I think they're going to finish lower than 10th. I think it comes down to Ronaldo. But this is at Old Trafford. What's your score? Let's actually do score predictions on this.
I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. I think Liverpool will.
Who's scoring the goal for United?
Ronaldo.
Okay, I want that scoreline. Only because I want Ronaldo to be the only one that's scoring goals for them.
Yep.
And the guy who wants to leave the club. And apparently they've said that they will take offers. And I'll be honest, I don't think he'll ever wear Chelsea blue. But if he wants to come play at Chelsea, we just need a guy we can dump in the box. The dude can still jump like 60-inch vert. It would be bad. It'd be bad for the league if he went to Chelsea.
Yeah, I think he's going to go abroad, to be honest.
Do you think he's going to go back to Portugal?
I don't know if he'll go to Portugal, but...
Where's he going to go then?
I don't know.
He's not going to go to any other Italian team.
No.
He's not going to go to any other Spanish team. The only thing he could go is if PSG say, you know what, let's get him. Let's have this ridiculous top 4 where they're just going to have vibes. They're going to have they're going to have a back five, one dude in the middle, and a top four of Neymar, Messi, Mbappe, and Ronaldo.
The only team he can go to is a team that is okay with a number 9 that doesn't press, because he's not going to press. He already said it. He's not going to do it. He's not going to press.
Honestly, I don't think he should have to. Honestly, in his last couple of years at Real Madrid, he rarely pressed, but he didn't have to because he was so fresh, and that way he had all the energy. So when the ball came to him, he's kind of like a James Harden situation. James Harden doesn't play defense, and that's because on the other side, he's going to probably get you. He's going to balance out his over under, plus minus.
Yeah, but there aren't a lot of teams now that will. I don't think Chelsea want that. I think they want a guy that presses, right? They want a guy.
I think we do need someone that presses, but maybe Tuchel would look at it and say, could we shift things around? I think Chelsea's fine without him. I'm just saying it's an interesting thing because
I don't think he'll go to a Premier League club.
I don't want Aubameyang. I'm going to say that out on the mic. Don't want Aubameyang. We already got Sterling, and that's enough for me to deal with. That somehow Sterling's wearing a Chelsea jersey. Every day I wake up, it's weird. Can we focus on fantasy?
Yes.
I went from...
Wait, let's go back. Wait, sorry,
Okay.
Let's dial it back. You agree with my prediction, 2-1.
Yeah, with Ronaldo goal. I don't care how that happens. I think
Okay.
it'd be phenomenal.
I think Salah will bag one, and I think maybe, I don't know.
Somebody else.
But
Another human.
Salah needs a goal because I need him.
No, you know what?
That transition's really nice into fantasy because everybody has Salah on their team, and he's doing shit. He's doing nothing. 2 weeks of nothing. All right.
So here's the thing. Okay, Ronaldo scored the first goal.
Yeah.
Place is going fucking crazy. Salah gets the tie. Who scores the third goal? This is how this happens. Own goal, Harry Maguire. 2-1.
I love it.
Literally, I think
I love it.
the Old Trafford would just turn into flames.
I love it. That's a great prediction. That would be the best ever.
I'm gonna tweet that too.
And maybe Southgate will be at the game, watching. That would be my favorite
Yeah.
thing.
All right, I'm gonna tweet this later. And it's gonna say Southgate picks up phone, texts Dyer.
Because Southgate's attending these games.
Oh, he has nothing else to do.
He's nothing else to do. He's just traveling around England.
He's playing pickleball and watching these games.
Yeah.
So I was in second last week, 1 point behind Nick Bailey. Now I'm in 14th, and that's fantasy. It's absolutely brutal. Darwin's Theory, Will Hayden, scored 101 points this week. And it is so incredible because in the highest was 140. I mean, God, who does that person have? I want to say I still think Diego has one of the best teams, even though it hasn't panned out yet. And I want to tell you why. And it's because his top 6 are absolutely freakish, and his name is perfect, Hall & Oates. So his top 6 out of the 7, Jesus, Holland, Darwin, Martinelli, Luis Diaz, and Salah could all score at any time multiple goals. They all could have double goal games. And he has Jorginho, who takes pens for Chelsea. I still think his team, Diego, do not change your team is my point.
I think he's in trouble.
Balanced.
I think he's in trouble for the next 3 weeks as Darwin's out. So where he doesn't have a midfielder or he doesn't have an offensive player to sub in, and so he's gonna have to either choose to eat the points.
No. Look, he could take out Darwin and put in Nico Williams, who got a 7 with Forest.
Yeah, he happened to get a 7.
Yeah, but he could play a 3-5-2.
No. I'm just saying. He may lose out on. He may, in the difference, the points he could get from Darwin and picking up another player.
No, he shouldn't sell Darwin. He's gonna have to eat that.
Right, he's gonna
have to eat that and bench him and put in a midfielder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's gonna hurt him for the next 3 weeks.
It will hurt him emotionally.
No, I'm just gonna hurt him in the standings.
We'll see. I still think Diego is a super nice team. So
it's
Diego,
also the second week, so let's curb everybody's.
No, let's not. Let's fire this up. Ozatique people is in 4th. You just need to watch what Oz does. Whatever he does, I'm almost. You know what? I may just change my team and just copy Oz. How did Oz know? I fucking hate Oz. Saw the Wolves goalie got 15 points.
Yeah, how did he know that?
That's the kind of shit, dude. Houdini shit.
It's Houdini shit.
Fucking
too.
Houdini. Dude, honestly, I don't know what Oz is into. Maybe he's into tarot, chakra alignments, some kind of Ouija board. How does he know the goalie is going to outscore Mo Salah even if you had him as captain?
Yeah, it's weird.
That's what. Okay, everyone, that's what you're playing against. You need to step your games up. Anyway, somehow I'm back in 14th. Nick Bailey was in 1st. Is now in 5th. I will say, what did I do after this week? Let me look at my team. I think I transferred out. Oh, I transferred out Chilwell for Zinchenko because I think Cucurella is going to play more than he will this season. I don't know why, but
Cucurella is going to play more than Chilwell.
Yeah. So
That's unfortunate.
I sub Chilwell.
Especially for England fans who want to see Chilwell play in the World Cup.
I mean, who doesn't want to see Chilweezy ball?
Yeah, I only think. Yeah, I got some tough matchups. I think I might take out Neto and put in. I'm liking. Who am I liking? I'm liking De Silva.
I'm thinking I'm gonna switch.
De
Son.
Silva's nice, dude. De
Silva's
Silva,
super nice.
super nice. He's playing he's cheap and he's playing real well.
I think I'm gonna
real well for Brentford.
Take out Son and I'm gonna trade Son for De Bruyne.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Because De Bruyne,
it's more consistent.
Well, the City's just gonna kill teams.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah,
and when Tottenham play the top 6, he's not. I don't know. I think it's.
I don't have him on my team. Put it that way.
You don't have De Bruyne?
No, I don't have Son.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Here's the other. Not here. Let's get to the real bean and potato here, buddy. Darwin's theory. Will Hayden. He doesn't have Darwin on his team. Okay? Kind of weird. Holland. At least Nick Bailey has Holland.
Holland Oates.
Prodigal son. Arthur's team. He doesn't have Son on his team. Kind of weird. Kane from the lane. You don't have Kane. I'm just saying. I think that's kind of weird. Sunny side up.
Maybe that's the theme.
So okay, he does have Son. I think that's the theme. You just make a name that's.
You just make it a funny name. Well, I came from the lane because I like Spurs.
Here comes the Son.
No Son.
No Son. I'm just saying. I think it's kind of weird. Yeah, but I know came from the lane, but it could be like Spurs Worldies or something like that. But you have Kane from the lane, and then you don't have Kane.
Came from the lane, like White Hart Lane.
No, I get the reference, but you don't have Kane, and White Hart Lane also doesn't exist. It's just weird at this point.
White Hart Lane it's not weird.
You're living in the metaverse.
I'm living in the past, baby.
Dude, you're just nostalgia vibes. I feel like I'm at a high school bar talking about what we should have done in high school.
Oh God, maybe I should have had Kane. He would have got me more points than fucking who the fuck knows.
Fucking Hall & Oates.
Hall & Oates, yeah.
Anyways, week 3 is coming. Everyone's excited.
It's coming at you.
If it's a tie, it's a loss for both teams. If either team wins, the other team loses in a huge way in our matchup, which is Monday Night Football.
Also, keep your eyes open for the juicy Carabao Cup matchups that are coming up. Just keep that on your radar.
All right. Ciao.
Ciao. Thanks for listening to the Boys and Bolos podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Twitch at Boys and Bolos.
If you'd like to be a guest, please reach out. You can hit us on any of the social media accounts that Jeff just mentioned, or email us directly at boysandbolos@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening, and see you next time.